So we've just finished watching Naruto. Me for the first time, and yourself, Liln, for like the second time, is it?
Yeah, this will be my second time. And the first time I watched it, I watched all the fillers. But we watched the Naruto Kai version this time, so that's a fan edit of the entire series to take out all the padding and filler, just so we get to the real meat of the subject.
Thank God, because I can't imagine how it must feel for everyone else to watch all those filler episodes alongside of it. It must be cool in some way because you get to see a lot of the more lighter stuff, I guess, and some of the
it's
fun
a lot of
character
comic
stuff.
relief, but it's also a lot of stuff that deviates from the story. And rather than it be kind of like fulfilling, it feels just a bit annoying because it just like they'll hype up a big fight like the worst part for filler is by the way, spoilers ahead for Naruto.
It wasn't obvious.
When Madara finally finishes the infinite Tsukuyomi, the infinite dream, and everyone gets put into the dream world, as soon as Sasuke dives onto Naruto's Sakura and Kakashi, it goes completely fillery for ages, and it's like the worst thing because it's like at least 50 episodes of just constant filler. It's interesting to see what people see in the dream world, but the filler itself is just not okay.
Yeah, I think I'll get around to those ones eventually because I am curious to see what some of those people thought of their perfect worlds. But
it is interesting.
I fully understand and appreciate why we didn't need to see that for the current story that was playing out.
We saw glimpses, and I think that was enough, to be honest.
But yeah, today is more so for myself, really, predicting what's going to come next. Because I sat through Naruto Kai with you, which I enjoyed thoroughly. And again, thank you so much for that, because it was such a good series.
Let me watch it again. Give me an excuse.
And I went out of my way to watch some of the arcs that came out after not after, but I guess you could say I watched the arcs that led up to the final arc, the wedding arc, to kind of get myself caught up in the actual ending of the series,
so you haven't
which
seen
was very lovely.
Apart from the very last bit of the last movie, the Naruto movie, the last, where you get to see a glimpse of Naruto's family at that point. You haven't seen anything Boruto yet, have you?
No, actually, the only thing I have been seeing of Burrito is this one image which I'm going to put up now, and it's of an adult Burrito with this cool new eye and a sword, and I have no idea the context to it, but I can only just say it looks badass.
You get to see a very short little scene at the very first episode of Boruto, right at the beginning, and he kind of wakes up from it like it was a dream sort of thing, but it kind of sets up this whole like, oh, that looks really fucking cool. Like, I can't wait to see that. But first you're gonna have to dig through shit. But I want to hear your opinion on what you think is going to happen during Boruto.
Okay, so I've got a few things on that I want to discuss and what I think could happen in this series. Part of it because it's more like predicting, this is kind of the kind of stuff you'd expect from a sequel series, but also stuff that I've sort of come up with based off just the fact that I've seen the series recently. It's still fresh in my head, and I've got some ideas that I think could happen. And the first one I kind of want to talk about is the story, more so in what I think it will mainly be about. So I'm predicting, I guess, that the first few arcs are going to be character-based, but also a bit of filler arcs. So we're going to have a lot of the focus being on Naruto, or Boruto really, during his younger years, trying to learn to become a shinobi like his father. And I'm curious to see what that's going to entail, because he's going to have such a different upbringing compared to Naruto.
For one, he actually
But I also get the feeling that it's going to be very... Yeah, but I get the feeling he's going to be very different, in a good way, but at the same time it's also going to be very slow, I guess is a kind way to put it.
There is...
Would you say that's
I don't know if it
close?
feels slow just because
without
of the
spoiling it,
filler.
of course, but would you say I'm close?
I don't know if it feels slow just because of the filler, or it feels like it has to take time to build up the characters like Naruto did. So there's going to be a lot of build up at the beginning. There's going to be a lot of kind of just like getting to know the characters. by the way, during this discussion, I will not spoil anything Boruto for you. I will not say yes or no to your things. I will just kind of explain what kind of to expect, and I'm more just here to listen to you, to see what kind of things you think is going to happen, because I'm very interested to see if you get anything right.
Okay, and so this is the first one I want to say, and I think, and I apologize for butchering his name, but I think for guaranteed, because you sort of kind of teased this with me as well when we were watching the final arc play out, like the war arc, but the Okatsu,
The Otsutsuki.
Otsutsuki clan, I think they're going to return as the main threat, and I think that, again, you kind of brought them up as well, that that's something that's going to be built up on in Boruto.
I mean, that was kind
I think that's a guarantee. We're going to see them again.
It was explained in the last kind of thing where it suggested that there were more kind of beings out there, and yeah. So you do get a little kind of hint. It does set up the story for Boruto, but it'll be interesting to see who exactly it is.
Yeah, I feel like they're going to be I think they're going to be the new threat. I don't know how or don't know when, but I get the feeling that they're going to be the official end game point for Boruto, considering again what was set up in the final arc and what was established in the last Naruto movie. And I also think they're gonna that could possibly lead to another Shinobi World War, but I just think that's I don't know. I think that's kind of treading old ground as well. But at the same time, it's kind of expected, I guess, especially if it's going to be like that.
So the only problem with the option of starting a new war would be the fact that Naruto and Sasuke would have to be out of the picture, because they're strong enough to just stop all the wars. That's literally what they did.
Yeah, I actually want to bring this up because this is a quote that Orochimaru gave Sasuke during the Sunrise arc, like the filler arc between them, I think, and it's something that kind of took notice of. I don't think it's important. I don't think it was intentionally highlighted to be an important bit, but this is what he said: in every era, a maverick appears. When that happens, there may be a need for people like us, who possess powers considered to be inhuman. There are things that cannot be protected by the righteousness alone. If that's the case, keeping us around like pets may be mutually beneficial. And this is what he said to Sasuke. I think Naruto and Sasuke are going to be the core protectors against the clans going forward. So, yeah, considering the sequel series trope and the next generation trope, I do think in some form we are going to lose both of them at some point. I don't want to say they're going to die, because I think that's the most obvious thing they could do. And again, considering all the iconic heroes that we've grown up loving these past 5 to 10 years have been killed in such unceremoniously or disappointing ways, looking at you, Star Wars, I feel like I don't really want them to do the same with Naruto, because he's such a cool character. He's such a great character. Yeah. He's got such depth, such development, and I don't want him to die, even if it is.
Behind him. His spirit dies in fucking Boruto, man. That's what happens. I feel like the main, like, a lot of people have problems with the show Boruto. So something I will say for you is go in with low expectations, and if you can come out with high if you can come out happy from that, that's a win. That's a win. The problem it has is the fact that Naruto is such a good series. You can't top it. It's impossible. And the fact that he had to, like, the person, I think the person writing Boruto is the same as the guy writing Naruto. I think it's a continuation. But the fact that he, like, pretty much wrote the story as it was a close, like as if he was going to close the book, and then continues writing about some random bullshit. That's Boruto.
Yeah. God damn it.
But I'm waiting, and I want to see if the show is actually a lot better watching Boruto Kai. Because I can say, without a doubt, watching Naruto Kai was more fun than watching Boruto. Than watching a normal Naruto. because of the amount of filler and the amount of shit you had to get through. All the intros at the beginning of the episodes only being 20 minutes. Naruto Kai is so good because it's a 2-hour episode every time. You get through so much story. But we can't do that with Boruto yet because it's not finished. And yeah,
and according to some people, because some of the YouTubers you recommended to me, I can't say which ones because I can't actually remember, but some people think we're going to have it for a long time, so there's going to be quite a wait for that. But you never know.
There is some really interesting stuff that happens during the Boruto show. I think some of the stuff is actually really good. Some of the stuff revisits kind of old enemies, but not exactly the same, but like possible followers of those enemies, you know.
Ooh.
So it's all kind of like showing it's back to basics with Naruto, because you know how like you now know the power of Naruto at the end of Naruto, and he's fucking strong. yeah, he's a literal god now. So the fact that you have to kind of watch all of Naruto, and then his son pops out with his own adventure. The one problem I have with the show is that they try to make him more important than Naruto within the first series. And I think that's what flops it a bit. And I want to hear your opinion when you actually watch the show. I want to hear your opinion of what you think the problem with the show is. You might like it. You might even like it. But I think it's got its problems.
Yeah, I think I'll see. I don't know. I want to see it with my own eyes before I judge. But I will go in with a low expectation in mind. But I've got to say, this is coming to my next bit, my next theory, I guess. Not theory, but yeah, my next idea of what I think could... Judging from the picture I've got here, this is what I think is going to happen with Boruto. I think, because he's not got the tail fox in him, if I'm right. He's not got the power of Kurama.
He's not a Jinchuriki. He's not got any of the tailed beasts in him.
So I think they've got to do something that will elevate him enough to be a good... Or not worthy, but at the same time, he's got to have his own skills that's not going to rival his father, but at the very least to make him a credible threat for the future enemies that are to come, especially the antagonists. Like, let's just call them the aliens, whatever. But yeah, I feel like he's going to have to become a very powerful threat to them. And what I think is going to happen, again, just based on this photo, I think he's going to get a new variation of the Bakugan. He'll gain a new power, likely from his mother's side of the family, and it'll be some new power that that's never been seen before, likely because, again, he's the product of a Jinchuriki and Hinata's family clan. I could be wrong, but I feel like his eye, it looks awesome, but I feel like that's going to be something very important going forward.
So, I was literally about to ask you a question, and that question was going to be, what do you think of his eye? You pretty much already answered that for me.
Yeah. And
what do you think it does?
I don't know. Again, from the looks of it, it almost looks like a cross between the Sasuke's Sharingan and if it was blue. Not exactly, but the fact that it's got blacker in the eye and the fact that it's almost got a pattern that seems to go around his arm as well. I don't know, I get the feeling it's going to be something that's going to be very useful, especially if it's going to go up against the alien clan.
So,
also, I do love that he's got battle scars too.
So in the actual Boruto series, so far, well, actually, from what I've watched, I've got up to about episode 130 something. So I haven't caught up completely to what is currently out. I think it's around episode 200 at the moment. Possibly more or less. I haven't checked that number, but we do not know currently. Well, I do not know from what I've watched what that eye does exactly. It has popped up a few times during the show Boruto, at very key moments, but we do not know the power of it. Like, what does it actually improve? What does it do? What does he see? Like that. You do get to see kind of briefly what he sees, but we don't figure out why. Like, why is this a good thing? So it's very interesting to like take guesses at it, because I don't even know what it is yet. I don't know what. I know the name of it, and I'm not telling you yet.
Okay.
So you do figure out the name of the actual eye, but it is. Yeah, I like your theory. It's a very good one, but you'll have to see what actually happens in Boruto when you watch it yourself. It takes a while to get there, though.
Yeah.
Fuck it out.
God. Okay, so to the next bit, my next theory, and this is sort of tied with the next one, but this is starting to get into the more my personal theory. So this is just based off what I've seen from the 500 plus episodes of Naruto I watched, and my current interest with the series.
Yeah.
And, again, judging from the picture, I think what's going to happen at some point is that Boruto is going to leave the Konoha village and become a rogue ninja. Because if you look at his headband, it's got the scratch on it. And that was traditional of shinobi from the past, specifically Itachi, that I'm thinking of, when they abandoned the village for a cause, or for their own cause, I guess. And I think something's going to come along that's going to provoke Boruto to leave the village.
Okay.
And adding on to that, I think what's going to happen is that after leaving the village, he's going to form his own Akatsuki band. Well, a band, his own Akatsuki organization.
His own similar kind of...
A new faction of it.
Own peacekeeping faction.
Exactly. I think he's gonna have been brought up on the stories of his father's adventures, and likely there's the tale of Pain and Yanako, and how they wanted peace for the world, and in doing so they created the Akatsuki, putting aside its true origins. But I think he's going to take some inspiration from that, and he's going to form his own organization, and basically it will be him and a few selective others traveling across the ninja realm, fighting, let's say rogue factions of the Akatsuki clan, or the alien clan. I think that would be a cool kind of concept, because
That would be cool.
a lot of the action in Boruto will probably be taking place at the Konoha village. It'll take a while. We need to set up the characters, so they're probably going to spend a lot of time there. But I can imagine when he's a bit more older, when this time jump occurs, or whenever this picture takes place, it's going to have a period where he's got to get out there, he's got to see the world. And I like the idea of him basically becoming, in a way, defying his father, but doing it for the greater good, in a way, I guess. I don't know, I could be completely off the mark, but just from this picture alone, I just love the idea of him being the leader of this new Akatsuki.
That does sound really cool. I would love it if they did that. I don't know yet, though, because I haven't got that... so far, Boruto is still a child, so we haven't actually got to the grown-up bit in the story. So right now, it's still kind of like in the first stages Naruto was, as well. So it's all kind of building up. But I've got a question for you. What characters are you most interested to see? Like people's children, like.
Or I can say that I'm looking forward to seeing all of them, because despite the fact that I can remember not a lot of their names right now, because there's so many of them, but I do love a lot of the Naruto bands, everyone that was involved with his life, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they will all bring to the table with their kids and their children.
I'll tell you two other main kind of characters alongside Boruto: Sadara and Mitsuki. I probably butchered his name. Mitsuki or something along those lines. They form a very, very good relationship. I really like their friendship in Boruto. But the character I'm most interested in is Sadara, which is the child of Sasuke and Sakura.
Okay.
Mainly because she's remember, she's a Uchiha, and she really wants to be Hokage. That's her dream.
I think you mentioned that after we watched the last. So yeah, I don't know what to expect from them. I think the only thing I can think of is that I hope that she's good friends with Boruto, because considering their father's relationship, the fact that even though they have a good ending, I do hope they don't kind of repeat the past where they become rivals. That's just me. I kind of want to be the best of
Remember,
friends. Because again, going back into my Akatsuki arc, I do like the idea of Boruto defying the village, but she's the only one. Again, just based off that bit of information I know from her, and the fact that she's probably going to be one of his close friends, I would like the idea of her being like the one person who still stands up for him. And yeah, she's good. She has that legacy, but she's like, yeah, I believe in Boruto Uzumaki and whatever he's believing in right now, despite his actions, what you may think. So who knows? I'm curious. I'm curious to see what their dynamic.
I'm curious
will be.
to see if your opinions will change later down the series. I want you to keep me updated. Because
I will.
Are you definitely 100% you're going to watch Boruto?
Yeah, I'd like to give it a shot because I
would say give it a shot.
Again,
Definitely.
As I-
Definitely give it a shot.
Yeah, Naruto made me. You made me love Naruto. It's such a good series. I want to give at least Boruto the benefit of the doubt and say I'll give you a shot because you've only been around for 3 years at this point. Like the show debuted in 2017, I think. So it's got a long way to go before it can catch up with the likes of its legacy father. So
He has a lot to live up to.
yeah, so I guess I'll see. But yeah, this has been fun. So thanks for this one, mate. And I gotta say, just thanks again. Naruto is amazing. I owe it all
Such
to
a good
you.
show. It's so good. If nobody's watched Naruto, if somebody's listening, well, I don't think someone is listening to this and they haven't watched Naruto. But if you so happen to have not watched Naruto, do it. Watch it. It's fucking great. And if you've seen it, watch it again.
Yes.
Watch Naruto Kai. It's great. It's good shit.